Why feminine? Peace, peace. Can you hear me? Mic check. Can you hear me? Right on. All right. Appreciate it. How everything going with your projects? Brianna Dunlap in the house. How you doing? I'm at the gym, doing a little bit of cardio. I figured I'd try out something new today. Back in school is going good. All right. Let's see. Let's see. Back in school is going good. New job is cool, but got some people. Ah, dang, but got some people threatened by my presence. Oh, yeah. Well, I'm sure you're not surprised by that, right? You know, that kind of ties in to what I want to rap about today. Brianna said, staying diligent. Yes, ma'am, staying diligent. That's what it is. Yeah, everything going well for us. Hope y'all doing well too. I know y'all are. So, the North Node is in Taurus. Security. What do I have? What do I value? Resources, natural resources, food, oil, gas, water, um, all the basics um, are being threatened in different ways. You know, now one thing I don't believe in doing is making light of people's struggles, whether I'm up or I'm down. You know, I don't know how loud I am because I got both of my headphones and I don't want everybody in here. Let me take one out. Can y'all still hear me? Mic check, mic check. You still hear me? If you can, give me a one, please. Mic check. Oh, okay. All right, bet. I appreciate it, Jael. Granny said, let me put four ones up there just to, so he quit asking. Okay. So goods, services, everything we need to maintain the basics is being threatened. Now, like I was saying, I don't make light of what's happening. Mighty more acres, mighty four, my four more acres. All right, peace, peace. Shabs, one, peace. Y'all forgive me if I mess your name up, but I don't make light of people's struggles because you may be up or think you up one day, you'll come and get smacked the next and get brought down to earth. Now, which leads me to the topic of desperation. Years ago, I started talking about common sense metaphysics, and clowns tried to clown about that. You know, I also talked about how a lot of stuff that people talk about don't work because people are selling dreams that are becoming nightmares. Now, I'm gonna go all around here, so stay with me. When I started discovering a lot of lecturers, it was still part of the era when people put their name up. You know, they put their name. After that era, we moved into the era of WWF, where people start having uh, surnames or characters, you know, and they went by the name of their character or their caricature. Now, ain't nothing wrong with that until something becomes wrong with it. Now, I understand about keeping your privacy 100%, but the problem is what we didn't see was it was leading up to something. It was leading up to a point where people could pop up and start talking, and you don't really know who this person is and where they come from. And because we're so driven by what we see and how somebody talks or what props they may have or backdrops behind them that supports how they talk, we get sucked into actually admiring and following that person. Now, what's the trick with this? Most people who consider themselves to be uber awake, uber spiritual, and all this other shit, if there's one thing they beat up on, it's Christianity. I mean, they beat it down. You know, Christianity been dead. So you gotta ask yourself, why is everybody still trying to bang on that? Now I understand we got people in our families and so forth that's still part of that belief system. But here's my question. So what? So what? You understand me? So here's the game. The game is to use the Christian model as the whipping post. But what people don't get is that most people, I'm not gonna say most, I'm gonna say a lot of people, I'm gonna be conservative. A lot of people are just repressed or disgruntled Christians. That's right, I said it. The average person in their so-called spiritual walk, where they find their favorite online personality to attach to, are demonstrating that they still are attached to the Christian model of what? Of having a Messiah. That's right. That's right. So that once people discover that the mindset has gone to this level, all you got to do is insert different versions of a Messiah that speak to different versions of people's pain. It ain't nothing but pimping. Now these spiritual, and I'm not saying everybody, but I'm saying the ones that it applied to. These spiritual con artists, hustlers, and whatever else you want to call it, are running the same script as the church that they condemn. Yep, yep. The show is running the same script to where people hang on every word they say and don't challenge nothing. Why? Because as my dear grandmother would say before she transitioned, this is the microwave era. Y'all want everything fast. I want to say this. You had a group of people who actually went to these lectures and sat for 6 to 10 hours. Okay? I envy those people because they were privileged to be able to be part of something like that. Okay? Well, I was talking to the homeboy Dap, and we was talking about how we consider ourselves to be the second wave of those people who were able to go and sit at those lectures. Why? Because we were fortunate enough to know about some of these lecturers when you could get on YouTube and watch Bobby Hemmett for 11 hours in Los Angeles. You know, you catch a Arlene Bay for 8 hours. You know, you catch Delbert Blair for 3 or 4 hours. Phil Valentine for 6, 7 hours. And you soaked up the entire lecture. Now, I don't know if this was the truth for everybody else, but it was for me. I had notepads where I was writing down books because it literally was like going to college. Fast forward to the year 2022, and people have caught on to the lick. They put up these 5 minute, 4 minute, 7 minute sound bites because we've been conditioned to not have the patience to enjoy the whole meal. So we get an appetizer, and when we think we had a 5-star meal, all we had was some damn cheese sticks and some jalapeno poppers. We have not even gotten to the actual dish because when you sit and listen to a full rendition, you're gonna find out a lot of it you don't agree with, and a lot of it you do agree with. It's called eating the fish and spit out the bones. A lot of those books that Bobby Hemmett recommended, there was no way that he read them. And he said it. So what was the real secret? It was for us to get them and read them and expound and even challenge some of the conclusions that he came to, which was supposed to be the point of all of this. Man know thyself, not man follow. But now, in this uber lazy and impatient environment we live in, I want it quick. Get me to the get me to the answer quick. You feel me? I ain't trying to. And then we had these clowns who come on and tell you about you don't need to be reading and all this, and it's all a game. It's all pimping. Because if I keep you stupid, and the only thing you receive is what I tell you, but then I turn around and tell you all the answers are within you, that's bullshit. You should not be cutting off any stream that can get you to some version of the truth, because there is no absolute truth. We're pursuing that motherfucker, and it's fast. So now, coming full circle to the North Node being a Taurus, and everybody is feeling the squeeze. But people's egos ain't gonna let the common person know that. So they're gonna push harder, selling fear, selling division, and I mean division within melanated people. That I'm this, I'm that, I come from here, and I'm on this, I'm part of this, and I'm part. Now here's my thing. When I was little, those preachers used to say the same thing. The Lord came and spoke to me last night. He said, Robert, Robert. Yeah, he was singing like this. I mean, I even sit and wonder, like, something don't sound right about that. Something don't sound right. Why? I'm intuitive. How come I don't get these messages like that? Now, you fast forward, these people who talk about how these preachers ain't shit, they're always telling you about the message they got for you. Now, let me clarify what I'm saying. I I have a daughter who is quasi clairvoyant. So I am not the one to dismiss the realms of exploration of the unknown or the unseen. What I do question is that everybody is who they say they are. That's what I question. Now, you come to me telling me that you're from here or you're from there, which means you are supreme to me, and I don't have no way to verify that shit other than the fact that my stomach say you ain't, then something ain't right about that. Here's the thing. The internet has created people. They have created identities. And I'm not one to like to brag, but I do have to set the record straight. Sometimes I had things popping before the internet. And to be honest, I'm not particularly great at working the internet and constantly putting out messages so I can keep your attention. To be honest, I'm not good at it. My greatness has been built on the ability to do whatever I'm involved in at a high level. Now, if a person only became something of merit through the internet, that's a red flag. We are in a time where the cost for being stupid and dismissive and ignorant are a lot higher. Because I'm gonna tell you something. When a man or woman can't eat and they have lived accustomed to doing anything to get their next meal, you will see the true nature of them come out. If a person didn't have no integrity before now, trust and believe this. The level of being disintegrated is going to be higher and more acute than you could ever imagine. I suggest people, you better get back to, as my grandma would say, the old way. You sit still and pick you up a book, whatever it is you're trying to learn about. You sit and contemplate on that. You go out and experiment and implement, you know, carefully. And I'm just not talking about spiritual matters. I'm talking about everything. I'm talking about everything. You have a lot of people on the internet who are actually giving out real valuable things. Like I follow this channel called Lead Farmer, and this guy and his wife, you know, are always on there showing you how to plant food and makeshift planters that can sit in your windowsill. See, that's what I meant when I said common sense metaphysics. See, I'm gonna tell you the game. When a motherfucker's a loser, they want to sell you everything you can't see. Let me say this again. When a motherfucker is a loser, they want to sell you everything that you can't see because it's not easily verifiable. And when anything threatens that reality that false reality they built up, they become belligerent. They want to attack because it could expose them for being just a flat out loser. I take pride in the fact that the people I deal with and talk to, just like you saw the sister on here earlier talking about in the comments, you saw wise feminine say, "Hey, I'm on a new job. I'm in school." Now she's spiritual, but this bullshit of sitting around here and constantly talking about how we're gonna take our planet back. I mean, first of all, who is we? That's what I want to know. Who is we? Because every 5 seconds, there's somebody on the internet going at the other person who says they got the plan for quote unquote we. And that's the big secret. If you want to find some type of agent, the agent is the concept of we because it promotes a fantasy that is not attainable unless everybody acquiesces to one thing, one message, one person. And that has never been the reality because melanated people have been all over the planet with their own tribal mechanisms, their own rituals, and they've never just been one monolithic unit. So when somebody keeps selling that idea, it's a flim flam. It's a pyramid scheme. It's a Ponzi scheme. And what happens is, because a lot of people get the machine behind them, they get pushed by the machine. Because the machine knows what they pushing is bullshit. That's right. Everybody needs to go and get the golden ass, the book, the golden ass, and you need to read the story about Cupid and Psyche. Cupid and Psyche. Now, I'm gonna give you a quick overview. Cupid is the son of Venus. Cupid is the god of love, and his mama is the goddess. Now, metaphysics 101, okay? The mind is all, and all is mental. Hmm. The story is about Cupid and Psyche. And when you read the story, you will see how Venus keeps attacking Psyche. Now, what's so significant about this, as it especially pertains to melanin dominant people? It's that we have a close association to the planet Venus. Venus. When you look at the Moorish flag, the red flag with the green star, what's on there? It's five-pointed star, star of Venus. Venus rules Taurus, North Node in Taurus, North Node in Taurus. So you're seeing the Venusian people really get squeezed right now. Okay, and if they're not being sincere, they're really getting squeezed because Venus, when she is not sincere, she is subject to vanity, which means she is subject um, to that which is not real, superficial. Okay, there's always somebody right where I want to get, where I'll get right here. When Venus is in her superficial mode, or when she's in her uh, mode of vanity, she's superficial. So that means she'll do anything to get what she wants, and she's not concerned about what's at the core. She rules Taurus. So if she's in her more um, vain state, then she is subject to only thinking about things, survival, but she's not thinking about the opposite of her in Taurus, Scorpio, which is about what's the substance, what's deep down inside, what needs to be removed, what needs to be transformed, what needs to be healed. Intense feeling, not feeling on a superficial level, but deep, intense, which is the epitome of the word occult. Yeah. And so in the story, Venus is tormenting Psyche. She's tormenting the mind because she is trapped in her more egoic state. And she's not being purely driven by the highest aspect of her, which is love. So that when Venus is not moving in that, then she becomes the worst aspect of Scorpio, which is obsession. See, the high vibration of Scorpio is transformation. The low vibration, one of them, is obsession, and obsession control. So now you see people who are losing control in their lives, although they ain't gonna admit it. So they have to be more forceful in their delivery so that they can try to project onto others and control them. Now, for melanated people, we talk about all the beautiful aspects of melanin, but we don't talk about the ugly. The ugly is that melanin would be the first substance that enters into the world. So if there was damage to that substance, then that means all this pride about my melanin, the other side is that, oh shit, I got all this work to do. As in, I have all this healing to do because that is why it had to be held over to enter into this world, to heal, to heal. And so when we get in all these bags about we're gonna take our planet back, I be thinking that's some troubling, that's a troubling thought to me because you know what would be happening? You would have factions that will be warring with each other for control of the planet within the melanin dominant people because we've missed the point. We think love is pussy. And I don't mean like a woman's uh, uh, sexual organ. I mean, as in, we think it's weak. There's this thing about people who claim to be uber spiritual, where they try to exude this toughness. You know, they try to exude this thing of I'm in complete control, and you're not. You're not. None of us is. And the tighter the belt gets squeezed with this North Node and Taurus, we're going to see where humility has not been able to find a home, desperation will run rampant. But I'm going to tell you something. If you've been doing your work and you are doing your work, which is nothing magical, it's just you've been introspective, you've been as honest with yourself as you can, you struggled with your demons, you struggled with your fears, you've wrestled with them. And just as that, that, that passage in Genesis says that, I'm about to get off here, well, nobody over here, just as that passage in Genesis says, where Jacob wrestled with God all night till the sun rose. Well, we all know that that's a symbolic of something inner, an inward struggle. See, the people who've been on that journey, you're gonna be all right. But the people who've been flim flamming, faking the funk, flying high on the ego, just pay attention. Pay attention to the spats. Pay attention to the arguments. Pay attention to the new schemes that come up. And I always say this, hey, I ain't got no problem with um, selling your services and what you do. So I always say I'd be a hypocrite because I have things that I do, you know, but I never set out to flim flam people, nor do I present myself to be more than what I am, even though I just might be more than what I present myself to be. So with that said, we're gonna wrap this up. Let's see what y'all been saying. Uh, yes, savior figures are like books. uh, that's right, Jael. It allows ease of infiltration. We got to get back to being sovereign. You know, get back to being sovereign, as in thinking for yourself, still remaining open to different perspectives, but critically weighing things. See, I don't want to sound like I'm beating a dead horse, but I'm telling you, when you want to control people's minds, you have to wear down any of the hardware that they already have. Okay? You have to whittle it down, and you have to get them to disavow everything they once had, which is, we're supposed to be eating the fish and spit out the bones. We ain't supposed to spit out the whole meal. But when a person wants control of your mind, they want you to separate from everything you had so that they can reprogram you in the way they see fit. Most people's biggest thing they study is mind control, as in how to control somebody else's mind. Yep, that's right. When you give up your right to think and you shut off yourself from different ways to feed yourself alternative perspectives, you're easy pickings. All a person got to do is speak to your wound and provide some measure of solution to that wound. They can get away with everything else. And that's pimping. So I got so much running through my head, and I forgot half the stuff that I was going to talk about. But it's good enough. Good I was able to get in cardio session. Y'all contributed to 40 minutes of a brother's wellness. I appreciate it. Um, like I say, um, I'm available for astrological private readings through my website, 720astrology.com, and coaching. And I'm about to make my coaching a lot more affordable so that more people can take advantage of it because I'm not stupid. I understand that people's money is getting tighter, but at the same time, I have to make sure I don't prostitute myself. But, you know, um, I do have valuable things to offer that are substantive, that you can hold on to, that you can apply, you can put to use. And so I'm going to be making that more affordable. So whatever you see on my site now for coaching is not what it's going to be. So, um, but other than that, I appreciate everybody tuning in. As always, stay down till you get up, and when you get up, stay down. Peace.